Hello, everyone, and welcome to Youngstown's Talk Channel. Joe and I are in the studio today. I'm Isaac. Sitting across from me is Joe Danier. We are live in downtown Youngstown right now. You can call in 330-595-1600s. I represent the MLO Bros. Joe is representing Youngstown Studio. We are live. No Luke today. He is out busy.
He'll call 5 times.
Probably. We'll see. I'm interested to see if he calls in. We just got to give him, bait him with some good topics. So, yeah. What does everyone want to talk about? It is the heart, the middle of the Christmas season right now. And what's that mean for the average Youngstown person? How was the tree lighting over the weekend, Joe? Did you go to that?
I didn't stay for the actual lighting. I went downtown, watched some of the parade.
It looked like it was pretty bumping.
Did some shopping.
Yeah.
It was well attended. There
really?
were 20 people deep on every side of the road. It was so amazing.
That's beautiful. Did they block off the streets and everything?
Yep.
Did they?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Were there stands and stuff?
I think they started at Cavelli and then they came this way and walked right down the Ohio 1 building and straight downtown. So
if you're watching, if you're from the suburbs of Youngstown, Canfield, Poland, Boardman, wherever, wherever, did you go downtown for the tree lighting? And if you did, why'd you go? What was your experience like? If you didn't go, why didn't you go? What was parking like? Where'd you park at?
Oh, I just parked right out here.
And you just walked down?
Yeah. Yep.
You're not allowed to park here unless you...
No, it was open. They opened it.
Awesome. Well, that's good.
And our building managers make it free. They could charge $10 to park,
but they make it free.
Totally made it
that's
free.
Good to know. I mean, that's a bit of a hike if you want to go to a restaurant. I mean, Penguin City wouldn't be bad, but
right.
So that's cool. And then for the people of the if you went, comment, how was your experience? What'd you get to eat?
Where did we end up eating? I don't even know. I can't remember that far back. Let me think. I'll think about it. Go ahead.
Okay, and then drinks. What were the festivities? What did they have to do?
So they have vendors all along the street. They have hot chocolate and
cool. Okay.
Ciders.
Yeah.
And
I heard Penguin City had like a truck or something.
Yep, food trucks.
Oh, cool.
And so there was tons of food. And then they had the flea that was down there where they had vendors set up selling
nice
tchotchke. It was really, really cool. And every restaurant, we went down to every restaurant, they were all at capacity. I couldn't get into them, and that's great.
That's a beautiful thing.
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so cool to see. What was the old mayor, new mayor? Was Tito announcing the lighting of the tree?
I didn't see him. I saw Julius. He walked right by me. Didn't even make eye contact.
Of course not. Why would he?
But he might not have recognized me. I was kind of low profile.
You're pretty recognizable guy, Joe.
I know, but walked right on by me.
Of course.
I saw what's the weather guy? Glasses.
Wilhelm?
No.
Stamboni?
No. DePaulo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was doing some of the MC duties.
Okay. How'd he do?
Stage really good.
Did he?
The dude's fluent when it comes to making announcements.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't do that because when you see a float, you got to say something pithy and entertaining about everything that's going by.
Yes.
And not repeat yourself after the 900.
So there was a parade.
Yes.
I'm so out of it. I had plans over the weekend, so I just didn't even think about it.
Those suburb people, they rarely.
Right. I just cannot support that. No, but that's sweet. Yeah, that is tough. People don't realize, we're having a conversation. There's nobody else in here. Okay. In that scenario, DePaula has to go up there live, give interesting details about, does he have notes or anything? Or
no, he was doing it on the fly.
The cuff. That's
really
impressive. That's very impressive.
Dude was really good at his job.
Yeah, that's awesome. And not sound like a blubbering idiot. You know what I mean? Actually come up with good points about each thing without sounding
he's
like an
funny.
idiot.
He sandbags when he's doing the weathercast, but in person, the dude's got some humor.
Yeah,
he's good.
That's awesome. Very cool. I went up to my wife and I. We wanted to get out of Youngstown for the weekend, so we went up to that Geneva on the Lake, which in the summer is wine country, is dead. There was nobody up there. It was kind of nice, but stayed in the lodge up there. It's funny. The average it's definitely an older demographic.
Yeah,
up there.
Sure.
Okay, so you're talking Rick, what up, dude? You're talking a lot of boomers. But what I think what was fun about it, a couple things happened that I wanted to discuss. First things first, a lot of roundabouts. And I would like to argue that demographic does not know how to efficiently operate in a roundabout. The just always stopping. A yield sign is not a stop sign. I don't know how many times I've said that, but just constantly almost getting into an accident behind the older demographic up in Geneva trying to operate around a roundabout. If there is an empty roundabout, you go. You do not stop. That's what makes them efficient, is you do not stop. You're not sitting at a red light. You go if nobody's in the stinking roundabout. Oh my gosh, it makes me so frustrated. The other thing I'd like to ask you, Joe. Yeah. This lodge, the customer service was fabulous. They were so at a place like that. You go to check in at the front desk. They're super sweet, very nice. Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's some things we have going on, this and that. Just very, very nice. Do you think there are certain types of people that take advantage?
100%.
I saw that in action. And it's frustrating to me because you see, I'm checking in next to this guy who's just laying in to this early 20s girl who has been trained to just be nice to him. So she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. We can." And he's just laying into her. And I'm like, at what point are you know she's not going to combat you, so you're being an asshole on purpose, and you're really just laying into her so that you get free stuff. And that's exactly what happened. And then they folded, and then they come out of the back room. "Hey, sir, I'm so sorry this happened. Here's goodie bags and this and that." And it's like you're promoting that type of behavior,
rewarding it.
You're rewarding that type of behavior by allowing that person to be an asshole and then giving them gifts in order to make up for it. And it's like, oh my God. And I was like, my generation would never do that. I would never, for the sake of just being a jerk to get rewards, we don't do that.
So let's just say you go behind the counter and you were like, "I got this, honey." Right?
Yeah.
And now you're the customer service rep. Would it have gone different? Would it have gone down different had you been interacting with that customer?
What you do? What I would do? This is what I would do. Okay. I'd go behind the counter. If I was behind the counter, I would look at me like so. You need to punish while still not being a jerk.
Yeah.
What I would do, I'd say, "Hey, sir, how are you doing today?" You know, to me, standing next to this guy, I'd be like, "Hey."
So there's still an Isaac in front of Isaac right now.
Yeah, there's just still
asshole on the right.
Yeah.
Isaac to the left.
"Hey, we're doing this thing, random customer reward program. Thank you for being so nice. Thank you for being so easygoing. We want to promote good customers today. Here's a goodie bag," right in front of the guy.
Yes.
Just to promote. And then he'd be like, "Why is he getting something? I was treating him." Well, sir, it's a random thing. Like, just totally rub it in his face. Promote the good customer, because that happens in my line of work too. Like, I really struggle when I get a customer that's making demands, doesn't want to listen to your advice. Like, "No, I know what I'm doing." It's like, I say, "No, I'm not, I don't think I'm the right professional for you. There are plenty of other professionals that I think will service you better." And then I try, you try to attract a good client. Like, I want a 100%. Good client. I don't want a bad client that's going to give me all kinds of headaches. So, like, I don't want to promote that BS. I want to promote good clients. And if it's so easy and it's a slippery slope to say, "I don't have much business, I have to give in and give this guy what he wants just because I need to make some money." No, don't do that.
Nope.
Don't do that. Don't promote that bad behavior. Give the good clients everything that they deserve. Don't fold and give the bad customers. You can't. That is like my generation would not do that. We would not fold to, or we would not complain in order to get free stuff, in order to just get that extra goodie bag or whatever, just to be an asshole for no reason other than a reward. You just don't do that. We'll stay out of Dodge. We'll try and make their lives. We'll try to make the hotels' lives easier, and then if it ends up being terrible, we'll review them poorly on social media. That's what we would do.
Yeah, thankfully I had an interaction like that early on in my career. I'm front desk of one of my shops. I had 2 customers come at the same time.
Yeah.
One was a really low dollar, really Karen-like, nitpicking, didn't want to pay for anything and just unhappy.
Yeah.
You had a high dollar person who was just being kind, polite, patient, and whatever. And I watched the 2 employees that I had completely cater to the person that was bitching and totally ignoring the high dollar person that just wanted to be served well.
Right.
And so I taught company wide. I said, here's the deal. You call it out and you say, you're being unreasonable. Right?
Yeah.
You're causing a scene. Let me take care of this customer who knows how to behave.
Right. Yeah.
And pay all the attention.
Right.
And guess what happens to bitcher?
They either get in line or they leave.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's okay to fire people who are assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. You can fire clients. The customer
100%.
is not always right if they're unreasonable.
That's right.
And just being ridiculous on purpose because they think they're going to get a reward for it.
100%.
Yeah. And I just,
there wouldn't be those restaurant Karens if restaurants wouldn't give in because it was easier just to give in than fight it.
Right. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up at this hotel. So this lodge, super nice. How do you feel about, like, you go to wait, hold on. One comment. Sorry, came in. Carter said, nothing to do with generations. There are idiots of all ages.
He likes to pick on boomers. That's why.
Listen, I'm not saying that all boomers do that, but how come every time I go into a hotel and somebody's doing it, it's not somebody that's my age?
I mean, it's fair.
I'd love to see some statistics.
Okay.
Because I think an older generation, especially if it's a younger girl behind the desk.
Well, all right. So
especially if it's a younger boy or girl behind the desk.
Let me give you the data on
and
this.
they can talk down to them because they think they deserve something. I don't know. We've talked about this before. It seems like there's an entitlement issue with that generation, but we don't have to get into that today.
So boomers, 50% of the boomers give in and say, Isaac, I trust you. I'm just going to let you do what you do. And 50% of them are like, fight you every step of the way.
Right.
Millennials after that, they know a little bit more. And so they challenge a little bit more and they question you. They look through the details. They want to see your work and whatever. The generation after that's Gen X. No,
I think it's Gen X and then millennials.
Okay. They know it all.
Gen X.
They know it all. Like they almost don't need you and they don't want to defer to you and they want to be in control of it.
You guys like to be in control and you like to not rely on anybody and you don't like to be told what to do.
I'll take a good boomer over a millennial or a Gen X.
Because they are home because they probably don't have a job or
Take that from Carter.
Or there are reasons why you have your generation has all the money. Because want to know why?
Intelligence?
No, because the generation,
tenacity?
Because the generation that came before you that fought in World War II understood the concept of leaving the world better. The American dream in leaving the world better than how they got it for the next generation to continue. But what did you do? You do not understand that concept. Your generation is completely entitled. The boomers are completely entitled to know this is mine. You get nothing. I'm keeping all of this until I die. There will be nothing left for you. That is not like your generation before you, the boomers at least.
Why so much? What boomer hurt you so bad?
No, and I argue this. I don't just say I hate all boomers. No, I argue this with my parents all the time. It's just statistics. It's just statistically what is happening. The average first-time home buyer is 55 years old. You think that's okay? You think that's the American dream? 55 years old? And don't give me when I was 20, I bought a house and the interest rates were 80% or 17% or whatever. Yeah, the average home was the price of a freaking sedan today. Okay? So don't give me, and we've been through this a million times. But your generation does not like leaving the world better than when you will take everything to the grave with you. But I mean, we're going to eventually that money is going to have to flow to the next generation once you die. Once all of you finally die, because you're the biggest demographic, because none of us are reproducing. No, like everybody's worried about overpopulation. That won't happen because none of us are having kids.
Population collapse more than anything.
Population will collapse because of you. Because of your generation. So thanks. But
I'm going to agree with Carter. That was a stupid comment.
What?
Stupid comment.
What's a stupid
Going
comment?
after the boomers like that.
I
Like
don't think it's
holding
stupid.
them all hostage to your trauma. Like that's unfair.
I don't think it's unfair.
It's totally unfair.
I
There's
think
some good boomers out there.
there are great boomers. I don't think they're bad. They're bad people. I just think
You
some
don't
of your
think you took a generalization totally sweeping across all boomers?
I apologize for my sweeping comment of all boomers.
Okay.
I don't think all boomers are like
You
that.
called them all entitled. You really did.
Okay.
All right.
I apologize for making a massive generalization. Okay. I think there were a lot of them as generation as a whole
Okay.
compared to the generation that came before them.
Okay.
There are cultural differences between them,
Right.
overarching,
Right.
that have affected society in different ways.
Do you think that boomers get blamed for a lot of things that they're not ultimately responsible for?
Do I think there are things that have happened that they aren't ultimately
Yeah, so I'm
responsible
a boomer
for?
and I have a 4-bedroom that I have no kids and I'm holding on to, and you'd really like me to sell that to release it into the populace. But
No,
I don't.
So the reason, a large reason for why that is because they like that community and they don't want to. They want to stay in their house, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them for wanting to do that.
It's paid off, like,
right?
Why not?
Right, and with current interest rates, it's like why switch over to a condo? But everything is so expensive. Like you can't build a smaller house for a reasonable price right now. But you can't build a smaller house, and there's not a lot of smaller ranches. Everybody's constantly fighting over smaller ranches.
Okay, so your first home, your starter home.
Yeah.
What'd you end up paying for it?
I bought a condo, which everybody said I was stupid, but I bought a condo for just me and my wife in 2016, and I bought it it's in the Lake Club. One of it was on the news recently. The one that had the electrical fire that like collapsed, like the floor collapsed. Me and my wife lived in that unit, that exact unit. There was a fire in it. But yeah, 2016, right out of college, I bought it. Everybody said I was stupid. All of my boomer relatives that I looked up to, it wasn't just boomers, but everybody in my family said, hey, not the best idea. Like the market's it's too high right now and it's going to cool off. I was like, okay, I can afford a house. And that's a lesson. Like if you can afford it, just buy it. You can make the payment. Everything looks good. Buy it. Okay. So then I lived in that. My interest rate, I want to say, was 7 or 8%. Lived in that for 4 years. Then sold that, bought a different condo. Same situation. Everybody said, I think it was 2019. Everybody said, oh, don't buy. Prices are so high. It's dumb of you to sell your one condo, buy another one. And I moved into Poland. Bought that for $100,000. And that's my condo currently that I'm renting. Then I bought the house I'm in now in 2023. Same deal. Everybody said I was stupid for buying. I bought it, and all of those properties went up in value. I bought the condo for $60,000, sold it for $105,000. Bought the second condo for $100,000. It's now worth $170,000, and I'm renting it. I'm never going to sell it because I have a low interest rate on it. And then I bought this house for $300,000. It's probably worth $400,000. And so you could call me a dumb millennial that doesn't have any money or whatever you want to call me, but I made good decisions.
100% you
did. So no condos in rural areas either. We learned from the greatest generation. Who did you learn from? I think we learned the great work ethic. Yeah, right. The pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. I don't think I work hard all the time. I totally agree with working hard. But the problem is that it's not the same. It's not the same. I can use statistics to prove your mentality of it was way easier, it was way harder to buy a house when I was younger, and you guys don't appreciate anything. No, that's incorrect. You bought a house in the 80s for 17%, okay? And you claim it was harder back then. That is a false narrative, because you were buying a house for $40,000 in the 80s for 17%. What was your monthly payment? A couple $100? In the 70s and 80s or whenever it was, couple $100? What was the average salary, annual salary in the United States during that time? So what the point I'm trying to make is, compared to now, during your time, you had a couple $100 for a monthly payment. Your house cost $40,000 and the average salary was $25,000. That means that 2 years of annual salary is more than what you paid for your house. Now in the United States, the average salary is $60,000. And the average price you're paying for a home across the United States is $450,000. 9 times the annual salary to pay for your house. I don't care if your interest rate was 17%. I don't care. 17% on $40,000 is not as painful as 7% on $450,000, which is 9 times the annual salary in the United States. So don't say it's work ethic. It is harder to buy a house now than it was in 75 or whenever. It's not about work ethic. It's you can't have an average salary and afford a home. So no, the American dream is dead right now. So what do? How do we fix it? Penny Lane says I'm right. Thank you, Penny Lane. Carter, would you like to argue my statistics? Because my statistics aren't wrong. Go ahead. Type in the old Google machine what the average salary was in 1970. Type in the old Google machine what the average home value was. And when you break it down according to what the annual salary was compared to the price of the home and how many annual salaries it takes to pay off the home, you could pay off a house in a couple of years if you save your money. You can't. It's impossible to do that right now. And then you look at the monthly payments. 7% on $450,000. You're getting up to a monthly payment of over $3,000. And you expect somebody to afford that on a $60,000 salary. It's impossible. The bank won't give you the money. I'm a loan officer. I'm a real estate agent. I know this stuff. I promise. They're not going to give you the money. They're going to lend up to 50% of your monthly income on a monthly payment. 50% of the annual salary of $60,000 is what? A lot less than $3,000 or whatever your monthly payment is going to be. It's impossible. So who put us in that situation? It wasn't millennials. Millennials didn't get us to this position because we don't have the freaking money to do it.
Who did? How do you solve this?
So and here's the thing. My generation is so terrified of what comes next. Well, what comes next? We can't afford anything, right? So we can't afford to have kids. We can't afford to have a house. So we freaking pump the brakes. We're going to pump the brakes. We're not going to be buying houses. We're not going to be having kids. And everybody always talks about, the housing market's going to collapse. It's going to take it's basic supply and demand. It's going to take the boomers dying out over the course of the next 15 to 25 years and then all of that supply of all the houses that they are holding on to flood the market, and then the price will come down. The price of houses will come down, and finally my generation will be able to buy houses. And that will slowly lower the average age of someone buying a house over time and lower the price of everything. Once that demographic that has all the wealth, the money will then fall down to the next generation, and we will be able to buy houses and rinse and repeat. People will be comfortable in their houses, and they'll have a good income, and we'll have that, whatever generation that is. Maybe their kids have more kids because they're more comfortable, because they can afford to buy houses and afford things. But I don't know. That's just, I mean, I got to be totally wrong. I mean, I'm just,
if I were a real estate investor, and, you know, somebody gave, like Struthers was really good about having land bank property.
Right.
And building single family homes that are like less than $100,000. If it cost you $120,000 to build a $85,000 house, would you do it?
So you're saying if it cost me $120,000 to buy what is currently compared to buying a home that's $85,000, I would buy that I would build that $120,000 house. I would.
Why?
Because it's
take a $40,000 haircut when you build it.
I would, because as long as it's built correctly, you're guaranteeing no maintenance over the course of like 5 to 10 years. You don't have to do anything.
Okay, so same thing. A 2,000 square foot house that I can put $200,000 in building materials and sell for $240,000. How do you make me agree to taking the one that takes a $40,000 loss versus one that makes me a $40,000 gain right when I build it?
So, yeah, I mean, when you building right now is tough because it's just so expensive to build.
Right. So
what needs to happen is the builders also know, supply and demand, that they can charge more because the price of the houses existing already are so expensive. So, I'm not going to disagree with that. Like,
so if I'm an investor, I'm going to set up the one as a rental because I'm not going to sell that for a $40,000 loss.
Right.
The other one is a sale. I'm going to build and sell because I'm going to make $40,000 on it.
Right. Well, the other thing that scares me too is just because I love real estate. I've thought about investing in real estate. Well, what happens if I buy a home now and then I can see this eventual collapse coming once all the boomers sell their homes? Like, am I better off if I can collect rent? Am I better off just holding on to it, the rental property? And if I rent it out for $1,000 a month or whatever, I make $1,000 a month until then, or a couple $100 after I pay my mortgage and everything until then, and then sell my property. But I'm going to sell it. I might sell it for a lot less because the supply of homes in the future in 20 to 30 years when I retire, it might not be worth that much. So am I better off not investing in real estate and just investing in the stock market? But because the other thing too is once the supply of houses on the market hit, when all the boomers sell all their homes, the market should come down and rents should come down with it. If the price of homes come down and monthly payments come down, the price of rent across the market comes down as well. But I mean, there are a lot of variables. You got to factor in inflation, a bunch of different variables. But if everything remains constant and it keeps going in the trajectory I think it's going to go, I don't know if investing in real estate is the best investment if you're going to hold it long term and try and
no.
Yeah, because compared to like if you bought real estate 20 years ago, you made a couple $100 off a month off of rent. Your house went up in value, at least doubled. You know, and then it's like, okay, you made the cash flow each month and you sold the real estate at the end and you made $100,000, $200,000, whatever it is. compared to you buy now and you sell, you don't know if you're going to make that 2x.
Right.
When all the supply gets pushed into the market. Let's go to some comments.
And then you lose that 2x.
which I have a rental property. I think about it all the time. Let's go up to some other comments first if we could. And I'm not, and this isn't like investment advice. If you believe in it, you do whatever you want. I'm not giving you, this is not
advice at all.
Do not listen to me. I can tell you what interest rates do. I can tell you what homes are selling for currently on the market because I'm a real estate agent, but I'm not an investor. Don't listen to my investment advice. I just want to compliment the Superman hat. This is actually my wife's hat. When we started dating in college, I stole it and I never gave it back. But thank you.
It is 72 degrees in here, so the hat is not necessary.
It's not, but I like it, so I'm going to wear it.
Okay.
Penny Lane said, "Yes, Guy, what is awesome? So right. Solve this. Stop voting for." So that's what we're going to disagree. Because the problem is, make corporations pay. It's not rocket science. So I think there should. I will agree with you, and then I will disagree with you. There should be some kind of limit for corporations buying up all the real estate.
What kind? What would you do?
I don't know. And I think I'm hoping that over time the market will punish them as the market comes down. But I mean, you've seen a ton of real estate being purchased lately by corporations. Right now, as it stands, when you're writing mortgages, you're allowed to have 10 mortgages in your name before you're forced to get a business loan, a commercial loan. Can we turn that light off?
What light? That one right there?
It's like blaring in my eyes.
No.
It is like totally blaring in my eyes. So right now,
such a deep
as a like individual, if you can get up to 10 mortgages for 10 different properties in your name before you're forced into a commercial mortgage. So like, I don't think some kind of cap would be bad. I really don't think it would affect people. I don't know if it's 10. We can argue over if it's 100, but if mega corporations are owning all of the real estate, that's a problem. That does affect the American dream in some regard, because then they can control the prices if they get enough.
Well, I agree that foreign investors shouldn't be able to buy properties in America.
Okay.
But American investors, like if I've got some bank and I want to put investments rather than the stock market or bonds, I want to put in real estate.
Right.
Who are you to tell me that I can't do that?
Yeah, but what if it's billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in a specific market, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make rent." You don't think at
tell me what I can and can't buy?
Think at an extreme level that's bad.
Yeah.
You don't think it could be taken advantage of?
From American investors? No.
Okay. So
compete against them.
So a company comes in.
Yeah.
And buys all of the property in Youngstown. Yeah. Every single house. Okay.
Yeah.
And then is like, hey, rent's $3,000 a month. If you don't like it, get out.
Yeah.
You don't
offer
think that's
them
good?
More. Like, why would you not just compete against them and say, okay, institutional or business investing only wants to pay $100,000. So my question would be, I'm going to give $110,000.
Do you think there should be any type of laws protecting the people from monopolies or any type of
monopolies? Monopoly is a real thing.
Yeah. No,
but going to the free market and buying stuff that's available for sale, and making an offer and someone accepting it. Yeah, that's just a transaction.
But isn't that how a monopoly happens, though? Is they buy up all the competition? No, a
monopoly happens when you have an unfair advantage over a regular consumer.
And how does that happen?
It's being able to pressure the sale because of the power that you possess.
How do you get the power?
You accumulate and buy enough properties to have that power.
Okay, so there you go. You got to the same. It's the same thing. It's the same. So you buy all your competitors.
Yes,
and then. So I think that could definitely happen.
So if
a company comes in and is able to buy
of individual real estate investors, you don't have one company.
I mean, it might not happen tomorrow, but eventually it could happen. It could. You want to, if there are avenues where people can take advantage of the system, they will eventually take advantage of the system. So I just think I don't think it would be bad to limit.
To what?
Limit.
Bring some arbitrary math into the equation. Go for it. What do you want to limit?
I mean,
because I'm gonna limit you in the same way.
At what point is it too much to own 1,000?
Yeah, should you be a billionaire launching rockets into space? Like that's too much.
What you could do, I guess you could do percentages. So you could be like, once you're at capacity within a community, like, hey, only 25% of the community can be owned by mega corporations. I don't think that would be that ridiculous.
You are kicked out of the Libertarian Party and also the Independent Party. You're just a Democrat.
The most important thing that the government should do.
Go tell me.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, you sound like a liberal crazy person that calls me a Trumper all the time. I just think that the most important thing that the government can do is protect, number one, the people from corruption, and number one, the corruption. Number two is like the mega corporations taking over and taking advantage of the people, so that they have so much money that they want to get all of the power and hold on to that power, and not progress society in any way, shape, or form and hold us down.
If
I don't think
property comes on the market
and
is open to everyone who puts a price tag on it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody isn't using some utility where they get like first strike at it, or they're somehow given an advantage.
Yeah.
It's open to everybody. So Bob down the street institutional investor comes in and says 100,000 and Bob says 110. Bob gets to buy it.
Okay.
Why would you restrict an institution to buy something that didn't get bid over by an individual?
If when you would limit that would be if the everyday Joe, the everyday person, is no longer able to compete because all of the corporations have bid the price up so high that, the house might be going for $450,000, which is the annual price of a house right now in the United States. And it's so high that all of the people that are just single family just want to buy a house, and they can't compete with all the corporations that have pumped the value of the house up. The everyday person who has the annual salary can't afford a home anymore. That's when you would want to limit that.
It's not stopping you from putting 460 on that 450 and buying it, right?
If the everyday person can't afford it because of the companies, then there's a problem.
So what do you want to do?
So
limit you to what you can buy. No slippery slope here.
I think it is a slippery slope, and I think you have to be careful. I'm not saying you don't have to be careful, and I'm not saying that my plan is perfect, but I think you should try and figure something out to help out the everyday person so that they're not forced into renting forever. Because that's the American dream, right? The American dream is the everyday person should be able to buy a house comfortably, have a couple kids like they could in the 70s and 60s. It was like dad went to work and mom stayed home with the kids. It only took one salary and everybody was comfortable. And it's like the American dream, right? That's gone. That is no longer a thing.
So let's just say I build a house.
Okay.
Can I select who buys it? Can I take all of my offers and decide which one, no matter what reason?
If you want to. Seller has.
So just create houses and say, hey, institutional investor, I'm not accepting your offer. I'm going with Bob.
Well, and you think that's realistic?
Yes.
You think that's realistic?
Yes. Would you rather take an offer on someone who the financing is assured and easy and templated over like these Bob who's complicated, who's gonna...
I'm gonna explain it to you right now.
Go ahead.
And it happens in the market every day. I'm a real estate agent. I see this happening. So why would you take a first-time home buyer loan, 3% down? There's going to be a couple hoops to jump through because it's a first-time home buyer. And it's a first-time home buyer that wants to start a family, and they're good people. As a seller, you see them, and you're like, wow, such sweet people. I'd love to help them buy a home. But then you have an older person who has cash from selling their mansion that's downsizing. Because remember, first-time home buyers who just want a small little home are also competing with boomers that are downsizing from the bigger home that they raised their family in to a smaller home. So first-time home buyers and boomers are competing, and the boomers win all the time because they have cash.
Right.
So it's the same type
They're
of
a
thing.
better buyer. They're your perfect buyer.
Right. But like you said, why would you give it to the first-time home buyer when you could get a cash offer from 100%. A boomer or from an investor? It's like, hey, here's easy transaction. Here's cash. Take it. So why would you take the first-time home buyer? It doesn't. You're not incentivized to take the. Yeah. So
they're a terrible customer. Like we just talked about a deal where we had your jerk at the front counter that's hard.
They're not a terrible customer.
And then you go to the person that has the cash.
They are not terrible customers. They're just, there's more hoops to jump through. There's more barriers that the sellers have to go through. But I'm not blaming sellers for taking the easy. I would totally take the cash offer. But the problem is, it's like if the market gets to the point with investors and corporations where they own everything, that's not good for the everyday person. Just like a monopoly, and they own all the product and they can charge whatever they want and take advantage of the people. It's the same exact thing.
But they're not wielding a power that is a power position. They're putting a bid on a house and they're willing to pay more than you are, and they buy the house legitimately. There's no advantage there.
Yeah, there is an advantage to
How?
them. If they own everything, that's they have a massive advantage. They have more money. Yeah, but they're taking advantage of the situation, just like a monopoly. We're talking in circles. Let's go to comments, Joe.
Okay.
Let's go to comments.
That's a good one. For the richest country in the world, most people are pretty poor and don't know it. Education here is failing. There's no healthcare, no hospitals, no affordable housing.
So, okay, Penny Lane, I will say this. It's actually interesting when you take a step back. We are still, I think, as compared to the rest of the world, the Americans we're a little spoiled. Okay, and I'm going to explain why we're a little spoiled. All of us, all generations, all peoples. For the richest country in the world, most people are pretty poor. That's not the case at all. No. That is not the case.
Pick your country. We'll compare it one for one.
All. I think the average, if you take a step back, so the average salary in the United States, I think right now is like 60 to 70. You can correct me if I'm wrong, please. But if you take a step back and you go to the world as a whole, if you have $35,000 as an annual salary, you are in the top 1% of the world. So we are very spoiled. I don't think we realize how good we have it. And I tell all of the people who want socialism and want communism, what I want you to do is I want you to travel a little bit. I want you to travel. And I'm not saying go to Europe and Italy and all the beautiful countries. Maybe find a good church group or a good mission team or like a hospital that's going to go, like what my mom and dad did that opened my eyes when I was a young boy in high school and in college. My mom was a nursing professor at YSU, and she would go with a bunch of nurses and a bunch of doctors down to Mexico in the Baja Peninsula. Very, 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 very poor parts of Mexico where people are living in dirt huts. And you get to see what poor people look like. Yeah. Poor people, like poorer than the poorest in the United States. Like poor people living in the United States at least have a house over their shoulders and they can eat something. Like these people are living in dirt huts surrounded by dust and there's nothing around them and they don't have a phone. And it's just eye-opening. Oh my God, we are so blessed to have everything that we have.
I had a friend in California who was a chemist. He made a product, sold the rights to that product and licensing for $780,000. He moved to Indonesia and he's lived for the last 34 years as royalty in Indonesia.
Yeah, which I don't want to do that because it's like, but it is eye-opening. You talk about privilege, talk about like how lucky we are to have everything that we have. It was eye-opening, and I think it was very healthy for me as a kid to see that.
All right, caller, what's up?
Yeah, this is Hank.
Oh, here we go. There he is.
I'm calling because I am tired of this goddamn millennial Isaac talking about stuff. He's a millennial. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me tell you what. Back in my day, we would pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and get things done. I don't need this kid telling me how to sell my house and what to do. Listen, Isaac, you're going to understand when you're older how the real estate market works.
Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Thank you, Hank.
Listen, son. I bought my house when I was 22 years old, working in the steel mines.
The steel mines, huh?
Steel mills. Working in the steel mills, and you don't know what you're talking about. I'm experienced. I've done everything. You haven't. Back in my day.
Why do you let him call? Why?
I think it's fun.
Hank is.
God damn it, Hank.
Hank.
Get your shit together, Hank. I can see him big belly, tucked into his jeans. And he's just like placing his gut on the table, like sitting down. Honey, bring me my food. Bring me my meal, honey. I told you when I get home from work, I want my meal ready.
You said he was busy. He's not busy.
Let's go to some other comments.
Okay.
No one can build. Lynn Temple said, and we think we are the greatest country in the world. We are failing. I'd really, when you really look at it, I think that there's a lot of doom and gloom, right? And I think when you take a step back and look at what the world used to look like compared to what it looks like now, I don't think it's as bad. I think I would rather live today than I would any other generation.
For sure.
I think technology is awesome. I think in terms of like rights across the board for all people of any color and creed, I think it's better now than it ever has been in the past. Are we perfect? No, we're not perfect. But I think it's better now than it ever has been. And I think the generations to come, people my age, we're all pretty chill. We are all pretty chill. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you get off to. Cool. Just don't be an asshole. I think that's what's coming next. So I really think
Gen
the world's
Z
not that
has
bad.
to rent for their entire lives. What's wrong with that? They can find the stock market to invest in. They can find other things.
Spoken like a true boomer. Spoken like a true boomer. Yeah.
That's cool.
The American dream was great for me, and I was able to use past generations that left me all this great stuff, and I worked really hard, and I got all these good things, but the next generation, who has it way harder than I do, they need to figure their shit out, stop complaining, and I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of people that sit around and don't do anything for my generation that don't want to like make their life any better. I do think there are plenty of people from my generation. My generation has its own issues that we can sit here and complain about. Right. There are members of my generation that don't want to work that hard because they just feel hopeless and are like, yeah, screw this. I'm not doing anything. And it's a rigged system anyways. I don't think that's a good outlook to have on life. Like, I am the type of person, I always have been, that put the odds against me. I am going to succeed and have you sitting in your chair wondering why I succeeded because I wasn't supposed to. And you hate to see like spite. I want to win the battle. I want to win the uphill battle.
That is the bootstraps work ethic.
So I can prove you wrong. That's the best thing ever. I want people at home to say, hey, this freaking millennial has no right saying all these things, and I hope he doesn't succeed. That makes me want to succeed more, and I will.
All right, Rick says stop letting large corporations buy up dozens or even hundreds of properties. 2 foreign entities and non-citizens should be banned from buying properties.
I think anybody who's not like anybody who isn't an American citizen, gone. Like Canada, I think Canada owns a crap load of property. China owns a crap load of property. Nope, out. Can we do that in China? Absolutely not. The United States cannot do that in China. They shouldn't be doing it here. Gone. Done.
All right. So 2008 sort of led to where we're at right now. You had Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac selling subprime borrowers. A ton of foreclosed properties hit the market.
Right.
Institutions bought them out and made portfolios of what money could be made.
Right.
So it basically primed the pump for institutions owning property. They didn't want to own them before because it was so much of a headache.
Right.
But now you get half of the mortgages on the market end up in institutions' hands because Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And that's the institution's fault. That's not the people's fault that happened. That was the institution's fault. The foreclosures or the buying of it once it was in distress?
Both.
Go ahead.
Both. It's both.
So who's going to buy it if institutions did buy it? If it's 50% of value.
Okay. So I'll ask.
Who's going to buy it?
During that time. The problem compared to now, right? When you go buy a house now, there are all these barriers to entry. You need to check income. You need to check assets. You need to check work history, all of these different things in order to buy that house. If you don't have them, can't get the house. Compared to back then, at first it started out like that. Okay, you have to make sure you can afford the home in order to buy it. But then everybody got greedy. The industries got greedy, and they started lowering those barriers to the point where in the early 2000s, you can ask Luke, when he was loan officer, they didn't check shit. No income, no assets. It doesn't matter. Call us. We'll get you into a home. The institutions stopped caring.
The institutions never foreclosed on the houses.
They wanted to make money, and they got greedy, and the government didn't check them, and they gave loans to all these people that couldn't afford houses. So the argument becomes, whose fault is that? Is that the people who bought the house when they couldn't afford it? Or was it the institutions that lowered the barriers to entry so far that
they created that market?
They created the issues. So who we can argue all day. I think it's a little of both. Like I think people are stupid for buying houses they can't afford and not planning, but it's just human nature. People are stupid. Okay. And on top of that, you are from the day you're freaking born, coming from that generation, well, that would be Gen X and some boomers. You're being fed American dream. You need to own a home. You need to own a home. You need to own a home. That is what you get. You go to college, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids. That's the American dream.
Caller, what do you need?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
What?
I heard the beep. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, okay. Am I on the line?
You are. You're live.
Oh, wow. Hi, this is Rick Leonelli. I was just calling to just like kind of weigh in on the situation a little, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I know how well, one thing I did comment, it does cost a lot of money to be poor in America, like that is one thing. But, like as far as like, I feel like a lot of people aren't actually exhausting all their potential when it comes to earning, I have a brother, not to like brag or.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
But he makes, between $10,000 and $20,000 on social media every single month. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that if people just, maybe, went out there more, right. I mean, got up and actually went out there and put in the work for whatever their passion is.
Right.
I really feel like a lot of people's earnings would, maybe 10 or 100 times more than what they're actually making. I mean, that's just a personal thing.
Right. No, I don't disagree with that at all. And I think there are a lot of, I would say like millennials, my age folks who are like doom and gloom. And I think it's maybe politically left to think, the world is awful and nothing's going to work. You're wasting your time trying to go out there and make money in a rigged system. It's all a waste of time. I don't think that is the correct way of thinking. And I think that's why you see the rise on social media of the more conservative, almost I don't even know, like what would Andrew Tate be considered? Like the go out there and work hard and be a good man and work your ass off and what are those called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
You mean like hard nosed blue collar type work?
Not even that, but like the life hacking and like working as hard as you can in order to like grind every single day. Like you see that type of culture growing so much because I think the younger generation is the up and coming generation is kind of tired of, the doom and gloom all the time, wasting away and not wanting to work hard, because I think there are a lot of millennials that just have that glass half empty type of mentality and it's just a waste of time. But I am definitely not one of those folks. So, but I think you're right, man. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, to just kind of agree with you on the one part. A lot of people wake up, you call them, you're like, hey, how's your day going? They're like, awful. It's like that's no way to live. Like I think that if you're optimistic,
right,
and you're always pushing for, I think that if you sit there and you think, oh, the world's against me, I'm a victim. This is wrong. It's like no. Everything that's happening to you, you're letting happen to you, and it's up to you to figure out how to get out of it. I don't think anyone. I think some people are given bad days, unfair shakes and stuff. It's not about how you land when you fall. It's about how you get up from it. I think.
Heck yeah, man! It's the Dark Knight quote. It's not about why do we fall? We fall so we can learn to pick ourselves back up. So you can take the punches, but you got to get back up and keep fighting and have a good attitude on life for sure. For sure, man. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate you, and we'll see you around. You hang up on him?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. But what was I saying? No, that's I do agree with that caller. Like you can't. I think being miserable isn't going to help anything for sure. And I think you should work your ass off. I really do. I don't. We can argue though. You can argue that compared to the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when only one person had to go to work and the other partner could raise a family, I think it was different. And that doesn't happen anymore. So the opposite side of the coin would argue, well, is that right? Is it right that both parties in a marriage have to go to work and be hustling, or should it be the old way?
Well, do the analog and go back to the the 30s and live like somebody did in the 30s. No luxuries that were non-essentials. And could you live with a single someone working, someone staying at home?
Yeah.
If you didn't take on any of the luxuries, central air and cable television and 2 cars and all the other expenses that require
the cost of everything has gone up dramatically. So in order to have your lifestyle, both parties have to work in the household.
I disagree. I think you can pull it off.
You think you can pull it off one person?
Yeah.
I think you can too. I mean, some people can.
Yeah.
Some people.
How many times like as a kid did you eat out versus now? Restaurants and fast food or whatever. My parents both had great jobs and we didn't eat out much, and they were both hustling too. Okay. What do you think today? Do you think people will eat at restaurants and take the luxuries of someone else preparing your food?
I think they did back then too. I think the average person doesn't penny pinch and budget themselves,
but they could, and that's
could.
That was commonplace in the 30s.
Yeah, because you're going through the
You're
Great
just
Depression,
choosing the luxuries, and those have a cost, which means that 2 people have to work.
Luke made a good point here.
He did.
The MLO bros. Zillow lost huge on their purchasing homes. So Zillow was taking their estimates and they were buying a crap load of homes in hopes of the market going the market going up and then selling off. And I think they lost their ass. They're also getting their shit suit in too by a bunch of different parties because they're doing shady stuff, which everybody knew they were doing. Let's take some other comments. I'm sorry we've been talking so much and not taking comments, guys. Lynn says, so your American dream is more important than a younger couple trying to get their dream. I think they're arguing what we were arguing earlier. And I'm an investor. I own 7 now. It's not exactly the amount as the availability. We cannot compete with them. We never have a chance. I own, and I'm a landlord. Like, I'm not saying that in owning real estate is a great thing, right, that the average person should be able to do. I am just saying that where like, should there be a limit? Like, at some point, should BlackRock be able to own all the homes?
I compete with other people in real estate.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And when somebody has an advantage over me, that's when it gets non-fair, right? So if I'm a person willing to buy a property. That's not
what I'm saying, though, Joseph. And you know that's not what I'm saying.
Let's just say XYZ company, they get first look at something.
Life
even
isn't
before
fair.
I've seen it.
I understand that
They get to buy it. I don't. And that's unfair.
That's not.
If it hits the market and then I have to compete with what I'm willing to pay for something, that's fair.
That's not what I'm saying. I understand.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not.
Okay. That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying.
You're saying limit the person where the same gravities.
I'm not even saying person. I'm saying you have to draw the line somewhere.
What's your
all
line?
The crazy people on the left.
You're can't monopoly.
All the crazy people on the left that you can't stand about their social what would it be? Like the way they run their lives and what they want to do and what they don't want to do. Socialism, like you want to try and stop them from doing any of that stuff. Okay,
stop who?
The left from any of their ideas.
Picking out a template and serving that template. Okay.
So when you go too far in that direction, you want to draw the line somewhere, right?
And I agree with you. There needs to be a line, and what you're choosing.
So on the opposite side of the spectrum,
yes,
at the opposite side of the spectrum, if you go too far, you gotta draw the line. I can't believe I'm arguing.
Socialism. You're Bernie Sanders.
I'm not.
You're Bernie Sanders. Okay, I'm going to call you.
I am
AOC
just saying the government needs to do something. We can't just totally eliminate them.
Sucks.
I'm not.
I
don't think it sucks.
I
don't think it sucks.
If I own
stop mega corporations from buying all the properties of the United States
with advantage, that's my asterisk. Okay, so if I own 7, is that too many?
No, I don't
10.
think that's too many. No, I don't
50.
think that's too many. I think at some point you get to the point where it's like, hey, I need to make a company and I need to invest. No, I don't.
100.
I'm not saying the everyday.
I'm trying to
the
find
everyday.
The freaking
it's
line.
just
you
like,
set a line. I'm trying to find it.
Joe.
Yes.
It's just like the mom and pop business that owns a bunch of real estate in the Youngstown market. I don't have a problem with them.
Okay.
I am saying that the extremes can happen.
So give me the number. I've said 50, 100, 500. What's too many?
I think it would be percentages. I think it would be if mega corporations own 50% of the property in the United States. That's not good. So just limit it at some point.
If they did it legitimately,
we have to come up with
by putting a bid in, and they had a buyer.
I'm not the guy. I'm not a government official that's going to make that decision. But I think you should seriously consider that that's not a good idea. And I need you to sit there and say you got to draw the line somewhere. We don't have to decide.
There needs to be a line, a fair line.
Correct.
Period.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. See, look.
Stop screaming at me. I don't like raised voices. Look, it makes me anxious.
Look,
I don't like it.
Look. See what happens when you force two people to disagree on something to sit down in a room and negotiate? Look, we're able to yell at each other and solve the problem. I think that, see, if we were politicians, see, if we ran this country, it would be way better.
It would.
It'd be way better.
Joe and Isaac.
Oh, my God. Jim Jordan says the greatest generation was able to get lots of socialism, stuff like the GI Bill to go to college, veteran loans to buy home. Reagan gave the boomers and every following generation trickled down BS. We need social program today to help younger folks buy homes. We need the minimum wage increased. We need more unions. We need workers-owned factories and businesses. We need affordable college and other training. We also need to get money and lobbies out of politics.
So AOC, what are your
I
thoughts
agree.
on this?
I think the place to start, Jim, the place to start is 100%. And I think 85% of the population agrees. Take the money out of politics. That would end, take the money out of politics and term limits. That would end a ton, not all of it, but a ton of, oh my God, corruption. That's the word I was looking for. And a ton of corruption in DC. That's where you start. But they'll never do it. They'll never freaking do it. But that's where you start. The other thing that screwed up college, right? College. So Joe argues scam. But here's the thing. The reason why college is so expensive right now, the government did get involved and that did play a role in it. But for a very long time, especially my generation, we were force-fed by our elders. You have to go to college, by parents, by teachers, by everyone. If you want to be successful in life, you have to go to college. You have to go to college if you want to be successful in life. The average person who goes to college makes $1 million more dollars than the average person who doesn't go to college. Bam, bam, bam. You drove that into our heads forever, for a long, long time. To Gen X, to the millennials, we were all told, if you want to be successful, you got to go to college. Do you think that had any type of impact on the supply and demand of college? While colleges sat around and raked in all the money and were like, holy crap, we got all these people that want to go to college now for some reason. This is amazing. We're just gonna keep raising the prices of college because there's so much demand for it. We're just gonna keep raising the prices, while the blue collar work that a ton of people should have been going and doing. But those kids were told, no, you need to go to college if you want to be successful. Do you want to be a nobody that's a plumber? So then what happened? The price of college went through the roof because the demand for college went through the roof. And now you're seeing that fallout where it's starting to shift because everybody realized that was a bad idea. And then all the blue collar work, the electricians, the plumbers, all those prices went up because there wasn't a balance, because the culture shifted the supply and demand and threw it all off. And now you're seeing the price of colleges coming down and the demand for colleges coming down because of it. And it's just, that was to some degree our own fault as a society for what we did and how we shifted it. Joe, what are your thoughts?
College and timeshares are uniform. So let's just say society said, if you want to go on vacation, a timeshare is the way you want to do it. And you get a bunch of people that do the wrong thing with bad math.
Yeah.
But if you have an aggregate of a majority of people that make that bad decision, like who are you blaming for that?
Right.
Culture?
Yeah. And I have I think that and I'm not trying to say college is a scam completely.
It's a scam.
I don't think
you're wrong. It's okay to have that feeling,
Joe,
but you're wrong.
Remember when you were arguing me a little bit ago,
yeah,
right, when you said that like I am using my own experience on life to apply to all of my decision making and everything, right, and my bias? Yeah, you're doing that right now.
No, I'm not. College is a scam.
Joe, did you go to college?
No.
Have you succeeded as a person?
Yes.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe didn't go to college and he succeeded and he thinks that it's not worth it. But to everybody on planet Earth, it doesn't apply
but
to Joe's way of living.
Just total normies.
Normies. Oh my God. But there are doctors. I think it's important. Doctors, engineers, people, law degrees. It's important to go to college with a mission for something you want to be. Like, I'm going to go to college to be a doctor. I'm going to go to college to be an engineer. I'm going to go to college with the goal of being this. I think that's important. I think you're wasting money if you're starting out as a freshman. You're like, I have no idea what I want to be, but I want to drink and I want to go to college and 100%. Party my ass off. I don't think that's smart.
Don't use the exception.
Right.
There are truly endeavors that need a college education.
Yes.
And that is 10%.
Right.
90% are wasting their money with a scam.
So, I think when I first started as a loan officer, they wanted a college degree, but I don't think it's required. Do you know that it's required to have a college degree to be an appraiser? Did you know that?
No.
They require that on a state level.
Scam. Total scam.
Yeah. But I think that to an extent that wasn't the government. Maybe the government was funding these missions to get everybody to go to college so that America's better. Like I could see that happening.
Colleges did really well financially with that.
Of course they did, because everybody was forced to go to college.
That was great. Great for them.
Right. But I don't think that's the government, necessarily the government's fault. That was like society as a whole pushed that.
Have college costs gone up over that same period of time?
Of course.
Can you make the whole it's an American dream to go to college and not be as subservient for the next 50 years of your life in debt?
became the new
So do you think
American
there should be
dream.
a red line and a limit on what colleges should be able to charge, or how many colleges should be owned by institutions? I think there should. Red lines.
I see what you're doing, Joe.
What?
I see what you're doing.
What parallels are you drawing?
So
here?
the folks like yourself that ended up not going to college, or the plumbers that started these multi-million-dollar plumbing organizations. You know what they like? They like the fact that college is astronomical, because from a competitive standpoint, they view it as, wow, I made the right decision.
Heck yeah.
And I got a one-up over all these other people from my generation because I chose not to do it. And yeah, I'm going to call it a scam now, looking back, because I made the right decision, and F everybody.
Right.
Because they all told me to do something, right? There's a part of you that was like, you remember that culture of, hey, you got to go to college to be successful. And you chose not to do that, went against the grain and succeeded. So you're able to stand up at the top of the hill and stand out.
Yeah.
Suck it. I did it the right way. You guys all suck. That's real easy to do that from your position.
College graduates are the renters. They followed the status quo, became a renter. They have a place to stay, and they're happy. Not great. You know, there are other ways. You see that plumber, drilling $250K.
Yeah.
Not paying the bounty to the college institutions.
Let's take some more comments. I'm so sorry, guys. We are not keeping up with the comments today.
I like that one. The dream is not achievable. Exactly. You have to come from generational wealth, or
that's not true at all. See, that's the glass half full mentality from the left, Penny Lane. I don't believe that's true at all. There are plenty of people in my life that have come from nothing that have succeeded because they chose to not have that mentality. And I don't think it's healthy to be telling the next generation that might be poor, hey, the game is rigged against you and you will not succeed, so stop wasting your time. I don't think that's healthy for anybody, because there are people that came from nothing that have succeeded and they can do good.
Well, Rebel Mortgage pushes against the status quo and says be different and win anyway.
Yeah.
You embody it.
That's a great segue into the company that my brother and I own, and as well as O'Keel, are one of our co-owners of Rebel Mortgage, who came from nothing, who came from the hood of Akron, and he is a successful loan officer, dual licensed, by the way, loan officer and real estate agent that owns the brokerage with us. And we go against the everyday average bank, the suit and tie lender. Why would you work with the suit and tie lender when you could work with me and my Superman hat and my hoodie and my sweatpants?
Did you guys bootstrap it, by the way?
What's that mean?
Bootstrapping, like just grind it out and make it happen.
No, see, it's much like you, Joe. Much like you. When we got into mortgage, everybody told us, "Hey, Isaac, you're not going to succeed if you wear a hoodie and sweatpants and a hat every single day, because you need to get like us and be like the suit and tie lender."
Do you see the button-down shirt?
That sounds dumb, and I don't want to go into a bank every day and be intimidating to my clients. I want to relate to the everyday person. So if there are some people that don't want to use me for financing, then so be it. But I am the average everyday person. And then guess what happened next? We became real estate agents, because real estate agents are...
Do you see my collar, by the way? Have you ever done a collared shirt?
Yeah, that's very nice, Joe. And then real estate agents said, hey, you guys became real estate agents? That'll never work. Dual licensing will never work. You guys are dumb and you have a stupid podcast and it'll never work. And we're also real estate agents too. So if you want to buy or sell a house, you can call me. My cell phone number, write this down, 330-921-8978. I'll say it again for you folks at home. 330-921-8978. You can call me. That is my cell phone if you want to buy a home, you want to sell your home. Boomers, looking at you. You want to sell your home, buy a smaller home for cash, and absolutely destroy any first-time home buyer's dreams of buying a house. I'm your guy. I'll happily help you out. If we can figure out how to get you to use dot loop and sign documents online, because I know you people aren't very good with tech.
I want paper. I want paper.
I'm just kidding. I'll help. I'll be nice.
Boomers too.
I'll be nice. Whoever
All
wants to buy a
inclusive.
house. I'm not trying to exclude anybody. That's illegal. Anybody who wants to buy a house, I will happily help you. Whatever you want, you just let me know. But thanks for listening. Joe, is there anything you want to say? What time is it? How long have we been going for?
No, we got about 10 more minutes.
Oh, we got plenty of time. Okay, let's keep going.
going.
Let's look at some other comments here.
There was one I wanted to read here. That's what corporations are doing right now, controlling rent prices and making them astronomical. And maybe not exactly limiting corporations, but at least the way they can buy when they're not released. Definitely not altering non-citizens. I know one from Italy. He owns 250 properties in Youngstown, and he's a slumlord.
Yeah.
Average age for new home buyer is in their 40s now. That is concerning.
I think it's 55.
It's up there.
I think it's 55. I think the average first-time home buyer is like 55, which is a problem. A problem. That is, the American dream is dead, because the American dream of buying a home, like, that was your 20s. You get a job, you get married. When does the average person get a job and get married? Right out of college. Concerning. I don't know how you fix it, but that's not good.
So if you had a kid today and they've got 18 years before they can start making whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
What recommendations would you give them? Would you have them start early, rent for a period of time, and then buy later on? Like, what would you tell them?
Part of me, and I know some people are like, oh, your dad gave you everything. Part of me wants to like own a house and rent it out and pay it off and make it nice and then like give it to my kid. You know what I mean? Because I want to leave the world better for the next generation, for my family.
Generational wealth.
Right.
Republican. Good job.
Right.
You're
but
bad at AOC.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I would almost have, and I've seen people do that and have success with that, where it's like, have 10 rental properties and then you have 5 kids and you give each one just to try and promote, hey, investing in real estate's a good thing.
So your duplex, you would say, hey, run this as a business.
Yeah.
And then get into property ownership, real estate.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think, yeah, and stressing, hey, the reason we have everything that we have that's nice and your dad worked really hard is because I don't think just giving your kids everything is the right move, because then you have spoiled brats, but like teaching them and making them understand why it worked is important. Obviously.
They own everything. That's the advantage. Penny says, no, not compared to the rest of the developed. They can go to college for free. They have pretty good health care, good roads to drive, post office, not much that sets us apart anymore.
I don't think you're only including Western civilization in that, Penny Lane. I think there are plenty of countries across the United States that don't have a lot at all, and they have corrupt, terrible governments that the average person does not realize until they travel to that country how good we have it here.
100%.
Because like I was talking about in Mexico, when I went and traveled with my parents and I got to experience that, what was driving next to the dirt huts was police cars that were beautiful, souped up. I think they were Chargers, like sick. So it's like, okay, the cops are driving around in these souped up cars,
and I'm riding a donkey
while the average person is walking in the dirt barefoot. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but when you have
Carter says, are your parents boomers? My parents are in their 70s. Yep, they sure are, and I love them to death. And I know I'm sorry for generalizing, but I love them to death. And they worked very hard. My mom's a doctor in nursing. My dad was my dad was always in sales. He worked for pharmaceutical companies, and he worked for what would it be? Medical device companies. Back in the glory days of like Pfizer drug rep days, when you could basically buy and pay for doctors to back in the good old days in the 90s. But they both had rock star jobs, great incomes, and yeah, but totally boomers, and I love them to death. But I argue with them all the time about this stuff. You should see us at our family. I have lunch once a week with my dad. Argue this all the time, and he throws it right back in my face, you know. But still love him.
Are you or your dad smarter? Would you say that he's smarter than you, or you're smarter than him?
Smart is relative, Joe.
To what?
I think smart is relative. So what do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about?
So
like
if I had
IQ, you want to take an IQ test and see who's higher? I think, especially right now, my dad's getting old. Maybe in his younger age, maybe in his younger days.
So you hit the IQ.
He is so wise. My dad is so wise in terms of like what's a good decision. Like anytime I make a big decision in my life, I call my dad and I ask my dad, "Hey, this is the route I'm taking. Do you think it's smart? Do you think it's dumb?" And growing up, I was always like, "You're being too harsh. I want you to tell me my idea is right, and it's good, and it's correct, and good luck. You're going to do great. You're going to do amazing." But that's not how my father is, and that's not how the boomers as a generation are. They are, and I think it's good. As I've gotten older, I've realized how good it is that my dad treats me like this. He's like, "No, that's a stupid decision. You're an idiot for thinking that'll work." Like that's my dad. So he's like, and I'm like, okay. Could have been a little easier with that big guy, but why is it a stupid decision? And why am I an idiot? So,
all right, so you have your dad who is Master Splinter.
Yeah.
And you and Luke are the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
If I had a deal and I would take that to the Master Splinter
right.
or the Ninja Turtles, what would be a good decision?
So, you mean for real estate and mortgage and everything, or what are you talking about? Just anything?
General investment. Who do I think is going to give me more wisdom?
Wisdom, my dad, because his wisdom. I think he definitely has wisdom over. He's been around the block more than me, which is why I take my decisions. But there are some times, every now and then, I run into a decision like when I bought my house or I buy a car, because they're so far. He's so far out of it because he's had money for so long and he's never been in this situation before. He's never been in a situation where he's buying a house and we don't know what the market, like he is very secure in his investments because he's older, which is totally makes sense, right? When you get older, you don't make riskier decisions because you place safer bets because you're only going to be on the planet for so much longer. So he was like, "I don't know if you should buy that house, with how expensive everything is compared to when I bought. It's not the best idea to buy a house." So it's like, if I would have listened to him and I would have still been renting, God only knows where I would have been, Also, that generation with like taking a leap of faith and jumping into a new industry and starting something new. And it's like, they are very much, hey, stay in your, and my dad wasn't like this, but I know a lot of millennials are, where it's like, hey, stay in your lane, put your head down, work as whatever, and get your work for 50 years and retire and get out. No risk, head down, grind. And I was lucky enough to have a father that says, hey, if you're going to, that might be a good idea. If you want to do it, I'll believe in you, but just don't be an idiot, So Luke's out driving around doing something. He's busy. Pennyland Jesus is Hank, really Alex Jones. I think it was Luke. Keep going. Keep scrolling down.
You think?
Only Jesus is perfect. That call is the perfect reason why your generation suffers. Which call? Was that Luke or the other guy? Isaac is the most evolved. It's like watching an egg hatch. Take it easy, Penny Lane. I don't know. I agree with everything.
Too many metaphors. Too deep.
Right.
Too deep.
in 2017, I had to jump through hoops, and I owned 2 homes by then. Yeah. But in terms of buying a home, I think it's important that we have those barriers in place and have hoops to jump through in order to buy a house, because you want to make sure we don't have another 2007 market collapse. That will not happen again. I know the doom and gloom people on social media love to tell you how the housing market's going to collapse soon and, don't get into real estate right now. Those barriers to entry are still there and much stronger than they were back in 2007 when the market collapsed. So what that means is only people who can afford homes are getting into buying a house. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac still have their strict regulations, and they're not going away anytime soon. And
I have my predictions.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Student loan debt is the bubble to burst.
Oh, yeah.
Which is going to be majorly disruptive.
But it can't burst.
It can.
It can't burst because you can't get rid of it. So it's just going to strangle everybody until they pay it. You cannot file bankruptcy and get rid of student loans. So people are just going to get stuck paying it.
Credit card debt, number 2. That's another bubble.
It is
that's
rising.
burst.
It is definitely rising. Mm-hmm.
And then mortgage. You don't think mortgage?
I'm not saying, and nothing can. It won't happen. I'm just saying it will be a lot harder for the house of cards isn't nearly as high and built up as it was back then. And what I mean by that is people who can afford houses are being written mortgage. If you have a 500 credit score, you cannot get a home. Back then, you probably could have figured out a way to get a loan. Somebody would have given you a loan. The other thing that they did back then was they bundled up all of the people who had mortgages and sold them to the stock market, basically, secondary market, and said, hey, these are all grade A loans. They're really good buyers. Everybody's good. And they weren't. There were terrible loans in there.
10 cents on the dollar, and you can make at least 50%, right?
So they were investing into the stock market and saying, hey, this is a good stock. This is a great stock. It's the best stock you'll ever buy, right? But today, yeah, there are some shitty banks giving out shitty loans to some shitty borrowers, okay? But they're not being sold into the secondary market as grade A loans. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac still have their strict rules and regulations in order to get a home. If there are crappy loans, they are crappy loans, and everybody's aware that they are crappy loans. So
can
it's
I
not
ask
as
you
risky.
something?
It's not nearly as risky. The deck of cards isn't nearly as high as it was before.
So Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae are adopting a new credit scoring system to be able to bring new.
Yeah.
What's your feelings on this?
So that's the thing.
Was it T10 or something like that?
I heard about that, and they're like, oh, we need. So the problem is, what happens is, you have markets get hot and then they cool off. So eventually the markets cool off, okay? And people get hungry. So they're like, oh, what are we going to do? We're not making any money. What are we going to do? And then somebody's like, I got an idea. Let's lower the regulations down to 500 credit score so we can get all these buyers into the market that can just buy houses. And it's like, okay, doesn't that sound a little similar to what we were doing before?
So let me float. Like I read all of the white papers on this.
Yeah, I honestly haven't done much research.
So let me tell you what it consists of, and you tell me your risk on it.
Yeah. So
the sort of scoring system before took traditional methods, things that reported to credit bureaus, things that are like, the wage that you made in your salaries. This is allowing borrowers to take in consideration other revenue streams other than your paycheck.
Yeah.
So things like, digital currencies and, digital payment systems that would have never reported to the agencies and the
Which
bureaus.
Which is fine.
That's primary. That's 75%.
So that's an income thing, right? So you can, banks, what they do is the easiest loan as a loan officer to do is have a W-2 employee who makes an annual salary of $200,000, right? You can take that, you can break that down to 12 months. They make this much money per month based on that salary. it's easy peasy. You know, you plug it in, your mortgage payment's this amount. Can they afford it? Yes, they can. The banks really don't like Bitcoin. They don't like stuff that you can't like track. You know, if you don't have a W-2, then are you paying taxes on it? Like they don't like to use Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac don't like to, if you're a 1099 and then at the end of the year, you write off all your taxes. Technically, when it comes to paying your taxes, you're not making any money because you wrote everything off. So the banks view it as you didn't make any money because you wrote everything off. So how are you going to pay for your house if you have all these expenses that you made up? Because you don't want to pay your taxes, right? This is because that's what everybody does. So
For sure.
So taking other forms of income is cool. It's just like when it starts to get really hairy is when you start to be like, oh, I'm not checking your credit score. Like if you're not checking to see if a borrower is actually paying back their debts and you just don't give a shit anymore, then, but like, yeah, hey, on social media, I'm making $500 a month and I've made it every month for the past 5 years. Like that's not very risky. So, and yeah, they might just take it and pay it, say, you know, write off all their expenses and, you know, it might not show up on their taxes. And that's why there's all kinds of questions that when you go to get a loan, it's important to get a good loan officer that you can bounce all these questions off of because every scenario is different. Every person's different. So I don't think it's too bad. If they're taking other forms of income, I think that's kind of cool. Don't you?
So on the expense side, some things that wouldn't show on your credit report, like paying your Netflix subscription over 2 years, shows that you have the ability to pay an expense over a period of time.
Yeah.
So they're considering more sources for income and expense.
So right now, I think there's definitely a way where you can report your utilities if you call like a water bill and you're like, hey, I want you to report this to my credit. You can call 100%. Them and ask him, hey, prove on my credit that and have an account showing that I'm paying my water bill so that it looks good on my credit. You can totally do that. So they're basically saying, hey, we're going to take expenses on Netflix. We're going to take, are you worried that they're going to be able to track that and use it against you though, if you don't pay it?
10T is what it's called. And it just takes more data points in consideration for your ability to pay.
Yeah.
And the history of having paid.
Ability to repay. Yeah, totally. And I think that honestly might be good for clients if it's like, hey, bud, listen, dog, you're paying Netflix, Paramount, Apple TV, all this stuff, totaling $500 a month. If we cancel all those subscriptions for a year and you come back to me, we can guarantee that like, if you do that, and you don't have any, and all variables remain constant, can't guarantee anything, but you should be able to afford a house, bud. You know, I think that's good.
$1,000 in Uber Eats, say go to the grocery store for $400.
Right. I don't think, yeah. Hey, bud, let's stop ordering Uber Eats every night and drive to the freaking Chinese restaurant and get the goddamn rice. Right? Or hey, revolutionary idea. Yeah. Go get some beans and rice, cook it
ramen
at home.
Total ramen.
And some chicken and cook it at home and save yourself the $20. But dude, the cost of eating healthy at home is still freaking expensive.
It's not.
It's
not.
It is though.
No.
Depends what you consider healthy.
Yeah.
Depends what you consider healthy.
I'm a meat eater, so like my meals are small.
Meat is expensive.
It's not.
Dog. Yes, it is. You're crazy.
Listen, you little glucose carbohydrates people, like you eat a lot.
I'm not even saying that. I'm arguing that like a pound of turkey or a pound of chicken breast is $10.
Right. So you eating out and eating a half of a pound of chicken breast and not being perfectly for your survival for the day? Come on. $5 is cheap.
Oh, God. Now we're going to talk about Joe's life hacks of doing the carnivore diet and how that's the only way.
Okay. Keep eating your sweets and your carbohydrates.
I like baking. I'm a baker, man. I love baking.
All right. You're choosing expensive
because you know who raised me growing up? What would the golden generation? Who was before the boomers?
Greatest generation.
The greatest generation. Yeah. She was born in my great grandmother. babysat me a lot when I was little, lived to be 100. And in her 90s, she babysat me in the 90s. She was born in like 1911. Came over like right after the Titanic.
No shit.
From Italy.
Wow.
But like babysat me and
Share
she
this
was
wisdom.
the bomb. Showed me how to bake. Didn't have a cell phone. Didn't drive a car. Never got her license.
She knew what was up.
She knew what was up, but she taught me how to bake. Yep. And I love me a chocolate chip cookie, dude. I ain't passing on a chocolate chip cookie. Michael Hogan says, been solo for a long time. Frugal, not cheap. My dad actually says that all the time. I'm frugal. I'm not cheap. Rick says, I should at least be able to bid. There are homes that don't go to market and they buy up to 20, 30 at a time.
That's what I'm talking about. Unfair advantage for the buyer, meaning if somebody gets preferential treatment, and that's the red line for me.
But what they do is, are you mad at them? What they'll do is they'll call all these businesses, or they'll call all these homeowners as they see the home become dilapidated, and they'll be like, hey, don't list your home. I can save you 6% in real estate fees
on those damn builders, scooping up all the value.
I'll buy your home for $180,000. Market value might be $190,000, but you're not going to pay 7%.
As long as it's not preferential treatment. If I had a house to sell, and I call somebody that I know that's a developer, and sell it to them, that's a private transaction.
Yeah, but like those laws are in place now. You can't pick one over the other just because you hate somebody.
Bullshit. That happens all the time.
You think so?
Yes.
You can't.
So you don't. Well,
you can't do it based off of like race. Like you can't be like, hey,
you can't discriminate.
This is an Asian person. I don't want them to buy. Or like up, what is it, Minnesota? These are Somalis, and I'm not selling my house to a Somali.
No Somalis whatsoever.
But you could just be like, hey, I don't want you to buy my house, and I'm not going to tell you
private
why.
Transaction, not institutional. Once I put it into the market, it's open to all buyers. Yeah.
But like as a seller, why would you give a shit? Why would you give a shit who buys it? If they're gonna offer you $20,000 over in cash, do you blame them for taking it? No, I don't blame a seller at all.
If you're in the stock market and you are buying and selling securities, and somebody has information that you don't and ends up buying or selling before you have the same information, is that fair?
Say that again. Sorry, I was drinking my water. I wasn't listening.
Son of a bitch.
Sorry, one more time.
You're a buyer of stocks. And somebody else that is buying and selling stocks gets information that you don't have and making decisions to buy and sell before you get that information.
So Washington, D.C.?
Is that fair?
No, of course that's not fair.
No.
Of course that's not fair.
That's my red line.
Right. No, of course. Of course. I agree completely. Yeah, totally. No, that's Washington, D.C. investing in the stock market. Hey, guys, we're going to pass a bill on COVID, and we're going to shut down everything. Let's all pull our money out of the stock market. Because we know we're going to be passing this bill, it's going to shut everything down, and then we're turning the pump back on. Let's all put our stocks back in the stock market,
and let's not let anybody know that except for the
people in this room right now. And guess what? It's totally legal. We'll make all this money.
Cha-ching!
Yeah, they're just printing money, baby. Yeah, we only make $170,000 a year annual salary, and that's probably all we should be paid. But if we invest in the stock market, all of our $170,000, and we guarantee we can print the money, we could be millionaires. We could make $180 million. And that's exactly what they do. It's literally that dumb.
So what do you think about Warner Brothers, by the way? Do you hear about all this?
Yeah, Netflix bought them.
Not yet. Oh.
The monopoly, right?
No, hold on. So, let me set the pins before you respond. So there was an offer tendered for Netflix to buy Paramount Plus. And then another company stepped in and said, no. There's a 30-day before that's put before the board. We're going to do a hostile takeover, which means we're going to go to the private market. We're going to buy up all of the Paramount Plus stock. Yeah. And we're going to be primary. So when it goes to the board of directors, we're in control.
And we can say no.
100%.
Who bought it? Who were the investors that were buying it up? That would be my question. Is it like BlackRock?
No. It's another media company.
Ooh.
Netflix, Paramount,
That's interesting.
You're going to be interested in this. Let's see.
Here, you looked that up. I have to pee so bad.
Okay.
We only have 20 minutes left, too.
Okay. All right. Cool. So Netflix was looking to take over Warner Brothers.
Okay. Hold on.
And-
I'll be right back.
And there was a part of the acquisition that was part of separating Discovery Channel out of that deal. HBO was part of that deal. And if you look, let me bring up a different article. And so you have Skydance, which is part of the Warner Brothers deal, and you had the hostile takeover of buying up shares of the equities, and you have two companies now that are battling where HBO Plus and HBO Max is part of the deal. And so you have two companies, and this is sort of like Suits is one of the Netflix series that I'm addicted to. And you watch these hostile takeovers and these backroom deals negotiated to be able to take over companies. And this is playing out in real time. Like, I didn't want Paramount Plus to be bought out by Netflix because they have a extreme liberal bent. And for another media outlet to have a liberal bent, probably not an advantage when it comes to politics or, sort of like programming that has a liberal persuasion. So I want an objective market piece where something that sells it out to the public ends up having a chance to be objective. And so this is sort of like a soap opera that is being played out in front of us. And so Paramount laid out its plan Monday to persuade Warner Brothers shareholders that it's a better buy for the company than Netflix. So Paramount offered to buy Warner Brothers for a cash deal. Netflix was making a trade for some cash and some an equity stake. So maybe like a portion of it being Netflix stock and a portion of it being in cash. Paramount just said, we want to buy Warner Brothers for total cash buyout. And so we're watching this battle happen in real time.
Bank of America, Citi, Apollo Global Management.
So Netflix comes to you and says, hey, want to give you some cash and some Netflix stock. And then Paramount comes and says, no, we're going to give you all cash, or we're going to be able to buy 51% of the interest in
So
in Warner
Paramount
Brothers?
wants to buy Warner Brothers instead of Netflix.
Yes.
Ooh, I think it's just all I think about when I see this, right, is like all of the people, the everyday consumer, right? And we pay all of these freaking different monthly payments to all of these different apps. And it just makes me think of back when I was in college, and I remember like, oh, should I get cable at my apartment? It's like, no, it's $150 a month. I'll just grab Netflix for $5 and I'll just watch Netflix, and I'll just force myself to watch Netflix. What I was doing before Netflix was pirating shit.
Stealing.
I was stealing. I was going online, because why would I pay $150 when I could just get a jailbroken Fire Stick or whatever it was? You remember doing that shit?
Oh,
yeah.
I made
And
a
you had
lot
everything.
of money
And
on
you
jailbreaking.
Everything. And it's
All right,
like, okay,
so tell me
time to put my pirate hat back on, because everything is so
legit.
goddamn expensive.
You're an adult. You pay for it. So what do you pay for right now? Give me a count. Netflix. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Paramount Plus.
No.
HBO Max.
Yes.
Prime.
Yes.
Apple TV.
No.
Roku or any of their stuff.
No.
Any of those Sodu.
So the thing is, it's
Fubu
no. And stuff, Hulu's
Hulu?
the big one.
Okay.
Hulu's the big one. Actually, I think I pirate that from Luke. I use his password.
Dude,
Yeah, he doesn't know
Dude.
about it though. Don't tell him.
that's illegal.
Don't
say
tell
that publicly.
Sharing passwords with Luke. And he's like, the thing is,
So what do you think
being
you
his
paid
younger
per
brother,
month?
I know all of his passwords.
What do you think
I
you're
know all
paying
of his
per month in
passwords.
subscriptions?
At least $100, probably. At least when it really comes down to it,
$100.
probably. But it's like all of these people keep branching off and creating their own streaming service. It's ridiculous right now to watch NFL football, all of the games. You have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they all split off on purpose to force all these different people that really love the NFL to watch all of these different games on all of these different streaming platforms. That is bullshit. And it's frustrating because I'm not an idiot. I know what they're doing. They're trying to get you to just sign up for it, and then you'll just keep it and you won't even think twice about it. But I will download Netflix, watch Stranger Things, and then end my subscription when I'm done with watching it. The average person doesn't do that, but that's what I advise you do. And then don't re-up until you want to watch something again.
So Netflix gives you 3 months. Will you binge watch a show just to get
I got to get through 7 seasons of How I Met Your Mother because I got Netflix for the next 3 months.
I don't want to pay.
And I do not
want to pay.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to live.
5 hours of streaming per day.
That's the way my father raised me. Be a cheap ass.
Bootstraps.
Right. Ashley said, I'd love to see statistics on everyone that got a college degree and how many are actually employed in the field of their degree. Yeah, no, totally. I think there were a ton of people that went to college and got stupid degrees and did nothing with them, and now they want college to be paid for. The other thing is, I'm kind of an interesting example of my mom was a nursing professor at YSU. So what did I get? I got the privilege of going to YSU for free. Okay. So my other siblings were like, I don't want to go to YSU. I want to go to Ohio State. I want to go to Miami of Ohio. And Luke was like, I want to go to Westminster College. It's like, why, guys? Why do you want to do that? Well, you could go to YSU for free.
For free.
So Leanna went to Ohio State, but she's a nurse physician assistant, but she went for a specific degree. So that's cool. I don't think you can do that at YSU. I don't think. Maybe you can. I don't know. But I'm like, I was smart enough to realize if I'm just going to go get a business degree, Williamson was like brand new at the time. If I'm going to get a business degree, just go to college for free. I was debating on going and getting my master's just because it's free. So I was smart enough to not go somewhere else. And I have the competitive advantage over my peers of not having student loans. Okay.
It's called privilege.
Whatever. You call it privilege. I call it competitive advantage. No, but so my wife,
boy.
white boy with all your privilege. And my mom didn't come from a rich family, came from very much lower middle class. And my dad grew up on the South Side, lower middle class. He came over from Germany, like off the boat. So I had that competitive advantage. And then they're like, cancel student loans. Part of me's like, cancel student loans. I could have gone to Ohio State if you're going to cancel loans. I could have gone to Cleveland. I could have gone somewhere else if you're going to cancel student loans. But I did the smart thing, and I'm going to get punished for it.
Yep.
That's not fair. But they never. What do you know? The government said they were going to do something. They never did it. So who cares? Because the government's inefficient. They never follow through with anything they say they're going to do, good or bad.
It must be the lack of vitamin D you guys are getting.
From what? You guys are talking crazy today.
Yeah.
Lack of vitamin D. I would like you to know, chicken cacciatore or whatever your name is. I supplement vitamin D, and I'm sure Joe does too, because he's a smart guy.
With vitamin K.
With vitamin K to up his absorption, because he knows his shit. Okay?
Science, baby.
Science.
Don't step to us.
Supplement.
My wife bought her first house on her own merit in 2018. She made fair money, but nothing astronomical. She was smart and knew what she could afford and found a starter home that fit her budget. And she accepted the compromises that had to be made for an affordable home, i.e. location.
And here's the thing. By doing that, like people said, and I'm not saying this works every time, but much like your wife in 2018, I bought my house in 2016. I had to budget. I had to be smart and say, you know what? Maybe I might not be able to go out every night and party with my buddies who are in college or whatever. I have to save money because I have a home and I have this investment.
Right.
And it paid off because then I sold it 3 years later for $50,000 more. So it was worth it. Same with my condo. Like, it was worth the investment. And I was I like house poor, whatever you want to call it. There were times where I didn't go out when I could have. I didn't buy things that I could have. And I chose my house over that. But it paid off.
Do you think if I said, like, I had $50,000 right now, go find me a starter house, something without ACE, without any like modern anything, just like structurally good, that you can find me something?
Yeah, 150. You bring me $10K and you're a first time home buyer, I can find you something. Well, we need to look at your variables. We need to pre-approve you. We need to see what you can afford. If you're if a person who's making $1,000 a month brings me $10,000, it's like, hey, Isaac,
you can find something.
Find me a house. If they're making $1,000 a month, I can't, because the mortgage payment on a $150,000 house or $200,000 house, they can't afford.
No, I need $50,000. I need a $50,000 starter home. Does it exist?
Oh, no.
Zero.
No. $50,000? No, not with good bones. No, that's going to be a pile of dirt. No, I thought you meant down payment.
No, I'm saying, like, I have cash right now.
No, buddy, no.
Find me a $50,000 house.
No. Oh, sweetie.
What is
oh, sweetie. Oh, honey. Oh, baby.
What is the $50,000 of today?
The $50,000 of today is 100 to
100,000.
100. Dude, it might even be 125 to 150.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the minimum.
And you're talking a house with good bones in the fucking hood, dude. In the hood.
Dude, a Glock is cheap.
Which I'm not even allowed to say. I don't think. But like, you're gonna struggle. You were gonna struggle to feel safe in that home.
Missile defense systems and chain link fences. And
it's very tough. It's very tough. Did your grandparents own a restaurant in Brookfield in the 80s and 90s? And did your dad worked the ice cream shop in Brookfield, Majory? I loved the ice cream shop as a kid. Sorry, not on topic. It was Schuster's or something like that. No, like I said, my mom, there are different Schuster's, but my dad's off the boat from Germany. And that was 60s. I think he might've been 2 when he came across, but originally from Transylvania, then migrated to Bavaria in Germany when the Russians started to move over into Transylvania. We've talked about this before. My grandfather fought in World War II as a German, as a Nazi, because they forced him to. And then once the war was over, he went home, and then the Russians started to move over, and he's like, I'm done. I'm tired of people taking my... I guess my dad said, because I asked my dad, like, hey, did we have money when... like my ancestors, did we have money in Transylvania? He's like, yeah, we did. But he's like, we owned land and we farmed it. We owned a bunch of land. But the problem is the freaking Nazis came in and took everything. So we didn't own anything then. We went from being like landowners that farmed the land to having nothing. And then, so he got done with the war. He went home, and then the Russians started coming over and we're like, hey, we're going to take all your stuff again. He's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to America. At least they can let me keep my stuff. So... yeah. And the Russians, what were they? I think they were called, I don't remember. It's almost like socialism's always, it's a slippery slope into authoritarianism, but the news wants you to think that the right becomes authoritarian, but all of the famous authoritarians were always democratic socialists to begin. I don't know. That's a topic for another day. Listen, we don't have to go there.
Bernie AOC, you went on both sides of the equation today. You were both socialist and also a fascist. Like, you're a terrible person. That's really the end all.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. The majority of America is somewhere in the middle, and we're not far left enough to belong on that side, and we're not far right enough to belong on the other. But I don't want to be on your stupid team anyways.
No.
I just want to sit here and have my opinions and not be given shit for it and not be called a Nazi or a communist for it. I'm just trying to use common sense.
All right,
And
give your
that's the
sales
average
pitch.
American.
Give your sales pitch, and then we're out of
Oh,
here.
we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
We've gone for
Menchie's.
full
Do we
2
want to
hours.
mention Menchie's?
I don't think we're sponsored by Menchie's anymore.
Let's
but
give them a free one.
We'll give
anyway.
them a free shout out.
Yeah,
Go check out
Menchie's,
Menchie's.
you're awesome.
Go check out Menchie's in Boardman. They were our sponsor for a minute. Also, if you that's me and Luke selling frozen yogurt. They have all kinds of seasonal flavors. Awesome family-owned company. Check them out. Also, if you need to buy a home, sell a home, or like I said, I'm a real estate agent. I'm also a loan officer. So if you need financing, me and Luke own Luke and O'Keel own a brokerage, so we can find you the best bank across wherever to get you financed. And also, if you need to start a podcast, you want to come in the studio and start your own show and talk about how stupid Isaac and Joe are. They don't know anything. You can do that. Call Joe. He'll hook you up with a podcast. You can come sit down here in Youngstown studio, live in downtown Youngstown, like we do every Tuesday and Friday, and talk about your thing. So, but thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, go give the Youngstown studio a follow. Go give the MLO bros a follow. We appreciate you being here. We will catch you on Friday. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your support.